Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of No Humping Wednesdays. Shaun, how are you?
Yes, I'm good. How are you? Well,
Why
I
are
say
you
I'm
doing
good.
this?
No humping. Don't do it.
Oh, no.
Just don't do it.
What did I do wrong now?
Don't do it. Just letting everybody know it's just not worth it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm still limping around from what I can only assume was a spider bite, but I'll survive.
Yeah. Well, that's the price you have to pay for going away yet again.
No, this was. I don't even know when it was, but it was here somewhere in the front garden. Yeah, here. I don't. It just got worse as I was away. So.
Well, there you go. Well, I hope it gets better.
Thank you.
Great. So today we're talking about balance, right? I'm really excited. It's a bit different, but like usually so far, the topics that we've covered were more like, I think, quote unquote, theoretical advice on just practical things, if that's a thing.
Right. Something like that.
Something like that. And so today I thought, we thought that it would be good to just also talk a little bit more about like, behavior and just mindset, lifestyle. And obviously like balance is always a very big thing. And, everyone's always talking about, oh yeah, you just have to have balance, but no one actually knows what the heck that means. So we thought we'd give you our scoop.
Yeah, it's such a cliche term, along with like everything in moderation and things like that. It's like these kind of like new safety net words, right? That we can say them so that we don't feel guilty about having 10 donuts. And it's okay because it's all about balance, right? Because I didn't have 10 donuts yesterday, so I only had 10 chocolate bars, so that's fine.
Meanwhile, it's abusing said balance.
Yeah, but it's a hot topic. It really is a hot topic. You see it everywhere, whether people are like just talking about it in their own posts or trainers are talking about how to get it. And what I find personally is I find most people say they want balance, but don't know how to get it. But secondly, don't know how to adapt and change once they do have it, because it doesn't stick.
Yeah. And I think also to start with what that actually means, right? Because I think most people abuse it. They're like, oh, I just live with balance and work-life balance and fitness and, just have balance. But actually no one knows what the heck that means. And then so no one actually knows how to implement it. So we'll tell you today. And also, does it even exist? But before we do that, we have a question for you, Shaun.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm getting more and more ready every week.
Oh, I love it. I thought I'd keep it light for you today and make it a little bit fun because it's been quite deep recently.
I'll believe it when I hear it.
Okay. Would you rather?
Well, we're going would you rathers. Okay.
Would you rather each and every day do 50 split squats, so 50 on each leg, or 100 burpees?
Would I rather? Oh, good question. Okay. That's actually a really good one, because actually I do like split squats.
And I don't actually too,
I don't actually mind burpees. So I'm trying to think logically here what would be best for me. You know what? I'm going to take split squats. I did a burpee challenge in lockdown actually, and it was tough and it was good because we were bored. But the one thing I took away from that is how much actually it hurts your joints if you do it every day, like wrists, knees. Whereas split squats, I think, will be a lot less stressful. So I'm going to go with logical, and I'll take the split squats. Thank you. What's the saying? Legs feed the wolves. So I'm going to go with split squats.
Yeah, it's great. It's interesting that you say you don't mind them. I don't mind them either. But a lot of people do. I put a post up on my Instagram story doing split squats, and I was like, point of view, I actually don't hate them. My inbox, wow, people are coming at me like which one.
It's so funny. Like I hate back squats. I don't mind front squats, but I hate back squats. Why do I hate back squats? More so because of my hockey days and my tight hip flexors, that I wasn't really ever able to get range. And when I did get any form of range, I didn't feel it in my quads. I just felt it pinching my hip flexors. And I think from that, I've always preferred the split squat to help my hip flexors stretch. And I think that's just why I love them, because I did more of them and I saw the benefit. But hey, each to their own. Everybody's allowed their own opinion on their exercise. As long as you do it properly with progression, do whatever you like.
which you can't do with a burpee. So that's that.
Well, weighted burpees and backflip burpees. There are some variations if you want to give them a go.
And hurt yourself in the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. So balance. What's your take? So I think maybe first we can cover what do we think about balance? What do we think it is? Is it actually achievable? And then go from there. And as well, I see a lot of people in the comments. Hello. If you have questions, please let us know and we'll answer them at the end.
Yeah. It is a good question, like, because balance is different for everybody. Absolutely everybody. What looks like happiness to one person is completely different to another. And you can't kind of just look and see what people are doing on social media and thinking, well, if I do what they do, I'll be happy, because it's completely different. You know, being single, having a partner, having kids, working a 9-to-5 job versus your own business. There's so many variables that come into place with balance. But I think ultimately when we look for balance, what we're looking for is complete happiness. We're just looking to be happy, which is actually quite difficult to get. To be completely happy, that goes completely against how our brain works. Like, we have times where we're happy, and it's very normal to feel unhappy or unfulfilled in a certain area as well. It's very normal. But for me, and what I do with my clients is I go over what I call the life triangle, which is formed around health, wealth, and what I call social, which is, I classify that as friends and family. And if you've got that complete triangle where every part of that is working in unison together, that's when you have balance. Whereas if one side's neglected, which is often health for most people, some people, they go down the social route, not often with the wealth. One side's neglected, it just falls down. There is no triangle, there is no foundation. You might think there is, but that's when you get people chasing more and more money for more and more hits of happiness. And all they're doing is just masking over a missing piece, which could be it could be your relationship, it could be your time with your kids, it could be your health and well-being, your physical and mental. There's a missing piece of the puzzle when you're trying to overdo one side too much and neglecting another.
Yeah, love that. I personally don't think balance can ever exist.
Oh, she's going deep again. She saved it.
We got the burpees out the way.
Hey, everybody, give up. Don't even try.
Not even try. Not like that, however.
I'm sure you're going to break it down into some knowledge, so I'll give you a minute.
Of course I would. It wouldn't be me otherwise. So, I don't think there's truly ever be, like, everything's always ever going to be balanced in life. Just like as a human, our body is never equally balanced either, right? Anatomy wise. So what we can do, however, is trying to bring things as close to each other as possible, but realizing that there will be a time in your life where, you know, work is a little bit more stressful. So you might have to kind of prioritize that and then kind of make, you know, let go of certain other things in your life, like meeting friends or whatever. There will be other times where family needs a bit more attention. So you need to, like, you know, give up certain things then. There will be time where, you know, whatever. So I think in that regard, I don't think it will, you can never really be properly balanced. I don't think that's how life works. Also, that's fine. It's just how to navigate through these busier times. Like, life is always busy, right? However, it's important to understand that sometimes it gets to WTF busy. I'm learning not to swear, by the way, for you.
You're going to do it. So
I'm going to do it. You have some faith in me.
No, none. You do one every time. It's either swearing or Peter Rabbit. They'll be in there today. So.
Okay, fair. It's my trademark. Okay. So for me, it's just like navigating through, you know, or like teaching my clients as well, navigating through like WTF busy times. So we like don't burn out in the process. So we don't compromise on important things like health, especially, And unfortunately, you know, like you said as well, health is always the first thing we compromise when things get busy or something comes up, and it actually should be the last on your list to not prioritize, because once you let go of that, and once you you know, not put enough effort for that time, and that looks different at each time as well, right? So your 100% today isn't your 100% in 3 months because something has come up. But it's just understanding that that's the case, working with it, working around it, learning and developing tools to navigate through this time, so that you're not balanced per se, but leveled, I guess.
And that's why I said early on, it's like it's finding what looks like balance at the time, but knowing that it will change, and it's learning to adapt. And I don't know, like the live triangle is something I use in like a whole session, and I do have I think I've got a video on it if anybody wants it to learn a bit more. But basically with that triangle, it moves, okay, but any one moment there is a priority at the top, and what we often do is we try and put everything up there. Yeah, but I've got to take care of the kids, and I've got to go out and have fun with my friends, and I've got to work 18 hours a day, and I've got to go to the gym 3 times a day. We put too much at the top, whereas actually the things that we feel are a priority might actually be lower down, and they're just important. So for most people with like a weight loss goal, I don't like using the term, you know that, I prefer saying fat loss. But most people with a fat loss goal, it's not urgent. It's not a priority. It's just something you would like to do, and you would like to do quite quickly. So whereas if we simplify that, and we take away the 2-a-days in the gym and the 100 Tupperware boxes and, you know, running in between and the 75-day hard and all this stuff, if we eliminate that and we simplify it to walking, tracking calories, drinking water, having protein with your meals, if we simplify it, you'll get a better return in results, because you're not overwhelming yourself and trying to put it higher up the list than it needs to be. Unless a doctor has said, look, Julia, you don't take care of this, you've got a week to live. Okay, we need to move that to the top of the list. But most people put the health up there with everything else at the same time. And then you get this overwhelm of not wanting to do it because it feels like the job is too big. So I often ask my clients, if this was easy, if weight loss or fat loss was easy, what would it look like to you? And then simplify that into that KISS strategy. Keep it simple, silly. You're probably up here. I need you down here. Can you do 500 more steps than you did yesterday? Yeah, I can. Perfect. Brilliant. Can you drink 1 more bottle of water? No, I can have half. Okay, let's have half. All right. And that's what I find that the adapting element is like, you've got to move it. It moves daily because of your job and stuff like that. It could change in an instant because of a family incident. Being prepared to adapt is vital for keeping that triangle intact. And that's what you're trying to do, is keep it all intact, because it's not going to stay like that. It's going to be squished sometimes, and one side's going to be longer than the other. But it's important to keep it intact for that happy life and the balance that you are searching for.
Yeah, and to manage your expectations. And I think especially when we look and talk about like health and fitness, people go from like 0 to 5,000, right? And literally from doing nothing.
Nothing to add there? No? Okay.
almost did. Nothing to, you know, everything. You know, there's like my post the other day about like 75 hard. It's not that I like don't like it maybe has its place, you know, the other organization I talked about doesn't. But you know, it's the problem is we want too much too soon, and then we end up being burned out and completely overwhelmed, and then we think nothing's ever working for me. But you just literally just have some patience. It took you some time to get here. It's going to take some time to relearn behaviors, undo some damage, and get back to a place where you want to be. And like one thing that I talk a lot about with like new clients is, you know, a bit like you as well, managing expectations and understanding, is your goal realistic for you right now? So if you come to me and say, okay, I want to lose X amount of weight, and I want to master this exercise, and I want to do fill in the blank, I say, okay, however, here's your starting point. It might take you much longer than you think, more than 6 weeks. That's for sure. I can guarantee you that. But also, does your current life support that goal? Because if you have a lot of stress going on with your job and family and holidays and whatever not, and now you set yourself a really crazy target of, I don't know, I want to lose 10 kilos in 2.5 months, which, okay, if you're like really strict and adherent, it is possible. However, is it feasible for you right now? Or is there too much that's going to be overwhelming that you can't stick to? Because, you have to take care of business, you have to travel a lot, etc. Are you willing to put in the sacrifice that is required? And if not, that's fine. We just have to refine it and then maybe come back to it at a later point. It doesn't mean you can't achieve anything or something similar. It just maybe means right now this goal might not be, something for you at this given moment.
Yeah. Well, if we take the summer holidays, for example, for parents mainly, it's a time to adapt because you have the kids around more. So something has to give. But what we often do is like, well, I can't give work or you're not able to unless you have days off. And then we're like, okay, well, I'll give up on my health. The difference is you give up on it, not reduce it and simplify it. So if you can't go to the gym 5 times a week and you can go 2, that's great. Go 2, adjust your calories to suit. Or, okay, we'll go out with the kids. Don't just sit in the lounge. Get your steps up by going out with them. You don't have to go to nothing. Simplify where you might think is simple. It's up here. Like I said earlier, I need you down here. You don't have to go absolutely nothing. You need to find that middle ground. And if you don't know, then ask. They who ask questions can't avoid the answers. So then ask somebody, okay, well, I've got a tough month ahead. What would you advise I do? And just ask somebody who understands balance or understands exercise and nutrition and stuff like that to get that support. But, as you can see there, but balance will never be complete because it always has to adapt. I think that's what we're trying to get across here.
Yeah. And I think that's also why it's so important to have a coach and have someone, especially during busy time. Like people say, I can't commit because I'm busy. Okay, now is the time you have to commit, because now is the time where you actually have to make it work, so that when things settle down a little bit, it's just going to be like an easy ride. And again, going away from this all or nothing approach, which will it's this endless circle. You try everything under the moon all at once, or probably yesterday, not kind of looking realistically at your life and your circumstances and all of that. No wonder it's overwhelming and frustrating. It's not as easy as people sometimes make it seem, but it's also not as difficult as most people make it for themselves, because you're literally going from a couch potato to wanting to run an Ironman in 3 days. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. I love the saying, it's simple, it's just not easy, because if it was easy, we'd all do it. And if you watch what the successful people do, they do the opposite of what the majority do. So if you're constantly jumping on the same fad, the same diet, you're trying to put everything at the top of the triangle and trying to prioritize it like you've always done, it's just a slippery slope back to where you were. And again, it defeats that object of moving forward because you're stuck in the cycle. You've got to do something that breaks that cycle to trust somebody who's been there before, or a coach to go, actually, yeah, there is a solution for me. And maybe if I do work on my patience and my willpower, I will actually start to move past the point where I always stop. And that will be fantastic. It might take you a little bit longer to get there, but it's going to be worth it because you've got that time. And we all know the tortoise won. The infamous race, we all know the tortoise won. It taught us a valuable lesson as a kid. We still talk about it now. Okay, some people may say the race never happened. I don't know. I think it did. But, metaphorically speaking, slow and steady wins the race. It does, because you have that patience and desire to keep going. And that's what it's all about. It's not about, run until you burn out and then I've got to start all over again.
And that's why like having a lifestyle approach is so important, and not like a 6-week summer shred, whatever, get Christmas ready, whatever. Like if you actually start to make it a lifestyle and take like one step at a time and be okay with things maybe taking a bit longer, but therefore more sustainable, and you're not in like 3 months or longer even worse off than you were before you did set challenge or program. But be patient with yourself to start adapting new habits and new routines, and like getting into the right mindset, because you can have the best coach and the best program and the best nutrition and everything laid out for you. If in your head it doesn't click, and if you're not willing to understand that it's not just training and food that you have to master, but more importantly your mindset, nothing ever works. No athlete is an athlete, a pro athlete, because of their training. Yes, because of the training, but more about, the lifestyle. If we look at like Kobe Bryant, right? He used to do more than other people would do because he wants to be the best.
Way more.
But also, it's not about doing more. It's doing more isn't always better, right? Just clarifying that. But it's doing more of the right things. And sometimes more of the right things means doing less in the beginning and doing more like up here and in here, rather than starving yourself to death and like running around like Peter Rabbit.
There it is. But that's really interesting. I'm reading a fantastic book at the moment. I'm really enjoying it, called Gut Feeling by Dr. Will Cole. And he's he's a kind of like a gut doctor, and he has all type of people that come to him with illnesses and weight problems and all this stuff. And that's what he's basically saying, is you have to do the work internally, otherwise it can be a bit of a waste of time. That we see it as like this external thing, right? Like, I should be eating that, I should be training. That's just that plaster over the burst pipe. It's that hidden message where actually, if this isn't right and this isn't right as well, like your gut and everything working inside, you're just bashing your head against a brick wall. You're just trying to do stuff that isn't going to work because you haven't taken the time to work on yourself mentally and internally to be in a position that you can make it a lot simpler for yourself. A lot of people, I don't deal with people who come to me and say, look, I have no idea why I've gained weight and I've got lazy. I have no idea. Like, they know what's happened, and it isn't the training and it isn't the food. It's something a lot deeper, which is something we did want to cover today. Is like, is it actually possible, Julia? Is it possible to go out and go for dinner and get your favorite foods? Or, what does balance look like in that sense for somebody who wants to get on track, who maybe doesn't have a good relationship with their food?
Yeah. And like understanding that balance can be achieved, but balance isn't always 50-50, right? It's like in relationships. I don't personally believe a relationship is always 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20, sometimes it's 60-40. Like, if you only have 40 today, I'm going to take your 10% today. And then next week, it's vice versa. Maybe it's the same with your life and your health. Like, yeah, today you can't put 100% into this, but what can you do? Rather than doing zero, how much can you do? There's always something you can control. There's always something, you can still take care of, even on holiday, even during busy periods, even during Christmas coming up and stuff, right? You can still make sure you sleep properly. You can still make sure you get a little bit of steps in. You can still make sure you drink some water. By the way, drink some water if you're listening to this right now.
Just drink water all the time.
But there's always something you can do. It's just understanding that it's not always looking the same each and every week. Like, do what you can to the best of your ability, and that's better than nothing. And then that's also sometimes better than 0 to 100.
Yeah, definitely. I sent out a message to all my clients and said, please share one win over the bank holiday weekend. And some people came back straight away with time with family or walking or blah, 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 blah. And others went, no, it wasn't very good. And I said, oh, well, what happened? And like, oh, well, I was away for the weekend and I didn't eat very well. And that's the mindset that we have a lot of the time. It's like, bad food, naughty, beat myself up. And that's what Dr. Will Cole talks about, is shameflammation. The shaming is causing the chronic stress that's actually worse than you having a weekend of higher calorie food. The actual mindset you have with it is causing you more chronic stress than actually the food itself. And winning, like you were saying there, winning doesn't have to be big. I did a post on it yesterday or today about being proud of yourself. You know, if you said no to an evening snack that you always say yes to and you always overindulge, if you said no, celebrate that win. Give yourself a physical pat on the back, say well done, watch the magic go to work. Because if you shame it, watch the evil wizardry go to work and watch it come in full force. So, you know, your wins don't have to be big. They just need to compound over time. Compound didn't sound right. Just has to build up over time, that it then starts to take over and you start to win. But if you don't celebrate it, there's no reason for your brain or dopamine to drive you forward to chase more water or chase more protein or chase more steps. There's no point. Okay, you've got to switch that mindset, because all of these things will work for you and allow you to create that balance where you can go to dinner and order your favorite meal and not feel guilty. It's fantastic. It's an amazing place to be.
Is literally perfect. That's like what life should be, right? Like so my clients, they do like a weekly kind of progress review, and one question they have to answer is like, what's like, tell me like at least 3 things that went really, really well this week. And there's always something. Like literally, if you made it out of bed and brushed your hair and teeth today, you're winning. Like literally, you're already better off than
you woke up. You woke up today.
And sometimes that's the, like, you know, reality. We have to like, yes, I'm going to swear now. She hit the fan.
26 minutes. We made it.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm trying. Give me like another 3 months. You know, but like acknowledging, okay, however, this, that, and the other still went well. I was still able to get some steps in. I was still able to still be a nice human being towards others and not let my frustration out on others, etc. Right? So it's just really kind of reflecting a little bit on that and not always having, dream big, but keep it realistic. You know, like we're busy. And like you said, the most amazing thing that can happen is when you create a lifestyle, because then you can go out on date night and girls night and boys night out and enjoy that pizza and that wine and whatever you're having, but fully enjoy it and not eat it because you're feeling stressed or anxious or depressed, and that's why you have to suppress your emotions, right?
Yeah, but it's like you'd ask somebody like how long you've been on a diet, and they might say, oh, like 2 months, 3 months. BS. Okay, it's been like years, because you don't switch this off. You know, order an ice cream. Oh, I shouldn't really order that ice cream. Should I? Shouldn't I? Should I? Shouldn't I? Oh, I'm eating it. Oh gosh, I'm going to gain weight now. That's your diet mindset constantly on. You're not giving it a break, so that when you have had those periods of overconsumption, this has still been on, but this hasn't. Okay, so then when you do try and push, you can't, because the brain's like, what you're just constantly on me. Whereas if you give this some time to have a breather, and having a break in your process is so important. It's like why, you know, it's why office jobs and things don't work 7 days a week. You stress, you rest, you go again. It's no different with a transformation process or a life transformation, or you're learning a job. You've got to stress and you've got to rest, and we forget that rest part. And that's mentally as well as physically, that you say, look, I'm going to enjoy myself today. I'm going to have whatever I want, without the blowout mindset and going too far the other way, that you can then enjoy it. But then you want to get back on track because you've given yourself permission to have that time off, rather than, again, restricting it, creating more shame and more stress. That's just a slippery slope, again, back to negative stuff.
Yeah. So it's, mastering your mindset, mastering your expectations, and then, you know, training and nutrition will fall into place much, much easier. And, you know, creating balance in a way that isn't all or nothing, basically. Right. Someone, Patricia, asked if you just can write the book title in the comments afterwards.
Yeah.
Easy. And any last final thoughts?
Just like, it is a deeper topic, right? It is a deeper topic to understand an individual's balance and what is actually going on and how to create it, where they could be wasting time or things like that. But I guess, like I said, make it easier. Make it simple. Okay. I had a client once, we were trying to get him moving out of his chair, and he was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to walk into town today with my family. And I said, no. So can you leave the house? Can you go out the front door and walk down to the end of the street and back before you start work? Oh, yeah, of course I can. That's how easy you've got to make it.
Yeah.
Okay. So keep it simple, silly, the KISS strategy, and have a look at your life. And are you prioritizing things that shouldn't be, or you're doing too much work? With this work from home, it's very easy to work all day every day, and it's something that it might take a little bit of time for you to find out. But when you do find the balance, or when you do find a better level, it's fantastic. It is fantastic. I was able this summer to work a 3-day week. Of course, I was doing little bits in between, but in terms of like sessions, I was on 3 days a week because I had my boys on the other 2. Then it was a weekend. And it's great. I'm excited to get back into a more of a schedule next month. But that's been created over 13 years of me doing this stuff. Let's compact that and make that maybe a little bit shorter for you. So it is possible. It is possible to find a better place where you can have a happy life with your family and your friends, happy relationship with yourself, and be successful in wealth, because people do it. In real life terms, there are people that are going through that every single day, and so can you.
Yeah. You just have to have discipline, the right mindset, and patience, most importantly, and then everything will just fall in place easy. Like, I had a conversation with a client the other day, and she's like, I'm really scared because things happen almost like effortlessly now, and falling into place, and it just feels so easy. And I'm just scared, like, why? And I'm like, well, because you're doing the actual work. You're not just like restricting yourself in your life and training, I don't know, 5 hours, 7 days a week kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. We just have one question pop up here. So how do you both approach mindset when someone starts working with you? What do you ask them to reflect on?
It's a tougher question to answer because it's very individual to the person. So how I work is I have actually like a one-on-one like a coaching call with them where I have certain questions I ask them, but we look at their life first, their lifestyle, previous things they've done, previous habits, things they're doing now, habits they're doing now, and then it's more like an ongoing thing I teach them, because it's something I don't believe and I haven't seen yet that can be solved obviously in one session. Right? So I mean, it was the case.
Yeah.
For myself as well, but so yeah, we'll just like going through the week, that's why my progress reviews and check-ins are so important. Like I ask them, how do you feel mentally compared to last week, for example? How do you feel physically compared? And then we look at why they're feeling better or why they're feeling worse off than like previous weeks. What happened in that week? What did you do? What didn't you do? Which outside factors were influencing why you're feeling this way? And then kind of unpack it from there, and then really work on mastering the mindset. Then okay, it wasn't the best week, however I still did XYZ. Next time I can do ABC better, and really going from there. I know it's a wishy-washy answer, but because it's so individual to that person, it's not like a one fits all.
Yeah. See, like I did read the question a couple of times. I'm like, but if I was to go with anything that somebody could take away today, I always ask my clients to check their PP. Okay, and I'm not talking hydration. Okay, their P and their P, which is their purpose and their passion for it. Because what I find a lot when clients come to me is they know what they think they know what they want, but they're playing on the surface too much. It's like, I want to lose weight. No, you don't. Come on. Come on. Give me more here.
Yeah.
Was it stuff at school that you were bullied? Do you want to be the hottest person in your group? Do you want to be around for your kids longer? Like, come on, let's go a bit deeper. So I want to know your real purpose to change. Because if you play on the surface, I guarantee you'll fail at some point. Weight loss goals will fail at some point. Okay, I've been doing this for 13 years. Nobody has proved me wrong, that unless they've gone from weight loss to something more purposeful. And then your passion to do so. Okay, well, what would it mean to you? When you tell me about your goals, I should see you perk up and start talking more excited about your goals. So if your purpose and passion aren't in line with what you think you want, that's where you can go wrong. So then I use things like Mike, who's sometimes on here, he used the why question, the 5 whys, the toddler why. You know, I want to lose weight. Why? To be happy. Why? Or how will this change my life? How will this benefit my life? We've got to do some more digging. Some people won't want to, some people won't know how to. Asking the right questions starts to open up the conversation more, so that we can actually start finding out what is the real reason somebody has come to me asking for help, because it very, very unlikely it's because they want to lose a stone.
It's never the weight, and it's never about losing the weight, or it's never that you think you gained the weight because you ate too much and moved too little. Yes, however, why is that, right? And so there's always this deeper underlying issue, and this is why diets fail, quote unquote. They just don't teach you what you actually need to learn, and they put you on silly things and tell you that, you know, a mashed banana has more calories than a whole one. I'm just like, no, it's just literally just no.
it's just not as tasty mashed up. No. That's literally it.
But you know, none of these kind of whatever programs teach you what actually matters, which is working on from the inside out, and then again things become much more effortlessly. Yeah. So yeah, always connect to your why. Write down what it actually is you want. And I think that's the hardest part, because it can get quite difficult and emotional, and you have to really get clear on certain things in your life and your values and boundaries and all these things. And it's quite a hard thing to do, but I would say you have to choose your heart, because you're really uncomfortable right now, but it's still comfortable because it's all you know. So I might as well get a bit uncomfortable doing something that will actually bring you more value to life.
Looks like we've gone too far in mashed bananas, but yeah, if you like them, eat them. But yeah,
they make great biscuits.
As always, guys, we pop these lives on my YouTube channel, and the Spotify link goes on Julia's. So if we pop the links in and you can subscribe, you can catch up. We're on episode 5 on these now, which is awesome. We're flowing out nicely, so would love your support in those areas, and just gives us more ideas of what we can do to help you out. We enjoy doing them, and I hope you enjoy them too. So your little love with a like and subscribe and things like that, it goes a long way, so we do really appreciate it.
Yeah, and any questions afterwards, if you're watching the replay, whatever, just leave them in the comments. We will be in there. Or if you have anything you want us to cover, let us know and we'll do that. Okay, well, thanks everyone who was here live as well. Patricia, and who else was here? Jasper and Sarah and David. Appreciate you guys, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Shaun, you too.
No humping.
No.
Don't do it. Enjoy Wednesday.
Well, anyway.
Okay, on that note.
On that note, I better go.
Right, thank you very much.